All right, so I think someone else just joined. Can you kindly introduce yourself? The person with the guest ID. Please, can you introduce yourself? Okay, I guess you are not with us, so we'll proceed. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Um, Basically, it's an image. When you see this, let me know what you think. Anyone can feel free to raise your hand just to tell me what's the difference between this, the first one, and this one. What do you see? What difference do you see? What anyone can speak if you spot any difference. Can you see my screen first of all?
Yeah, yeah. One does
Ca-
not have dash.
Sorry?
First one has dash. Sorry, second one has dash. First one does not have dash.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you very much. So this is going to be more or less like the basis for anyone who has joined this session. So we believe that if you're a full stack developer or engineer, let's use that as a basis for every other skill set. Because of course we have those who are data scientists, data analysts, cloud engineers, and the likes. But we'll just stick to full stack engineers for example. So if you are interested in getting, please can you kindly mute? Um, Please can you kindly mute if you're not speaking? Okay, I think I have to mute you. All right, um, so this will form the basis for anyone, as much as you are interested. I think someone has turned on their mic again. You know, um, s- all right, so I'm going to make my colleagues Anna and Larry co-host so that you can also perhaps help out with organizing the guests as they join in. Yeah. So we'll go back to our presentation. So basically, someone has said the difference between this and this is the fact that this one has Deutsch, and Deutsch, of course, basically is German. So what that means is if you are aspiring to um, get a tech role in Germany or German speaking regions, you are not yet completely ready for it until you include German, Dutch in your kit sets. You know, so your skill set is not complete until you include Dutch in your kit sets. So that's Of course, if you are interested in pursuing tech career in Germany, but if not, it's not definitely necessary. So, but why is it necessary? Because most tech roles in Germany always require that you have at least a minimum of B1 German skill before you can even get an opportunity to interview you. So no matter how your tech skill um, might be highly rated, most employers would always include this as part of the requirements. And we are going to show you this practically on. We use LinkedIn because LinkedIn usually has like the highest amount of job openings, generally compared to any other platform. So that's why we stick to LinkedIn for the exercise we are going to carry out. So you are not a full stack until you read German. And that's part of the reasons why German for Jobs exists. And we would get to explain why we are doing this in a few seconds from now. So in the meantime, I'll stop sharing my screen and go back to another presentation, which we will be using as a guide for this session. Please, in between, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hands and we would attend to you, or you can as well drop them in the chats and we will attend to it. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, I think I didn't even stop sharing it. Yeah. So this is um, going to be a short one as well. This basically is going to be a guide to help us know what we need to do from point A to point Z. So just a simple guide for you as a woman who is aspiring for a tech role in Germany. Um, so currently, Germany has one of the highest tech job openings, not just in Europe but across the world as we speak. Um, this is even a modest figure here. But if you do a quick,
Please, your voice is very low. We can't hear anything.
is it the same for everyone?
Yes,
Is it the same for everybody?
it's low.
Okay. I think I'll have to leave the call and join back again. Is it the same for you, Anna? Can you hear me clearly? Or it's also low for you?
It's better now.
Okay. So can we proceed? All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So I was saying if you do a quick Google search, you will see that there are a lot of um, tech roles opening in Germany. And this number 96,000 plus opening is even modest. You know, it's actually more than this. And as we speak globally, there's a high demand in the tech sector in Germany. So this was from 24 to 2024, but this is 2025. So the figure definitely has increased. So it means the opportunity is there. There's no question. about that. The opportunity is there. Um, and Another reason why we are doing this is because in Germany, a lot of companies are currently interested in diversity policies. What that simply means is that they want to include other people from other cultural backgrounds in their companies. And some tech companies are um, championing this, so they want to include more of women in tech roles. They want to include um, people with different backgrounds, black, Latino, and all of that. So they are sort of interested in these diversity policies to ensure that they include other people in their companies. And so many companies at the moment are actively recruiting women as much as you meet the minimum requirements or qualifications. You know, so this is part of the reasons why we are doing this, because we believe that it's important that we get to support you on that journey, help you see where you stand or fit in based on your skill, and then support you with learning German, and then connect you to the role that fits what your profile really um, um, makes you stand out and competitive and what the employers are looking for. This is basically our own responsibility. But even to add to that, we connect you to mentors, creating a network where you can um, get to learn more about opportunities within the system, and get to also um, network amongst other professionals already in the field and that are aspiring to be in the field. So this basically is our core responsibility on this journey with you. Another thing is for tech professionals, once you are able to get a job, you get an EU blue card. An EU blue card is basically um, work permits that enables you to work anywhere in the EU. So it means that if you get a job from a German company, for instance, as a software developer, they will give you an EU blue card. And with that card, if you decide to go to France, for instance, you can still work in France because it's generally acceptable across the EU. So once you have um, an opportunity, get the job, you get to um, obtain this EU blue card, because the EU blue card is basically for professionals, especially those in tech. You know, so this is also an opportunity that you get to obtain, through this job process. Um, so basically, before we go into interviews, we would quickly do a simple search on um, how to find roles that are popular or in demand in Germany. Um, we will be using, I think some of us have mentioned that they are software engineers, software developers. I think someone also mentioned data analysts. Someone also mentioned virtual assistants. So to use some of these roles you've mentioned, do a quick LinkedIn job search for Germany. We'll see the requirements, and then you get to decide if those opportunities are there and how you fit into those opportunities. And then you'll see if you're ready or you're not ready. You know. So I'm going to be opening LinkedIn. Um, we'll use LinkedIn, like I said, because LinkedIn is more or less the most popular one. I believe everyone here is on LinkedIn. So is the easiest one to start with.
What
So I don't know if can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can see, but just that your voice is not encouraging at all.
Okay, I think I may have to leave and join back again. Let's see if it will help. Is it any better now?
Yeah, it's okay. It's better.
All
Thank
right,
you.
no problem. So I'll go ahead to share my screen again. Um, so this is my own personal profile. Of course, if you are familiar with LinkedIn, you know you can directly search for jobs. So I've clicked on that now. So I'm going to um, use what the roles that some of you have already mentioned. Let's let's start with data. I think someone mentioned data analysts, um, data analyst. So the location I've already picked Germany, but you can even be as specific as you want. Where exactly in Germany? But I think this is default because I am in Germany, so it has already picked default location. So, but you can go ahead to filter to be as specific as you want. For instance, this is a region in Germany, North Rhine-Westphalia. This is another region, Bavaria, where you have Munich. You can be as specific as you want. But for this purpose, we just limit it to the entire of Germany. So we use data analysts and search. So this is the result. You can see we have 2,273 results, and these are mostly recent. For instance, this is 4 days ago. You know, um, this this is saying something. Okay, so you can see we have over 2,200 we have 2,273 results. You know, so this is just for data analysis alone. You know, so it means there are over 2,000 companies that are looking for a data analyst as we speak right now. You know, you can see that some of them um, you know specify what they want even within the job role. This says English speaking, so it means that if data specified that they want English speaking, then there's a possibility that the majority of others would want German as part of the requirements. But let's take the first one as example. This one says data scientist, not even data analyst. Let's see if we can find. Let's go with the data scientist first. Most of them is written in German, so that's also another thing. You know, if you are not really familiar with German, you might not even be able to read the what the job requires. But let's just go to the profile here where we have profile. So they want someone with a master's degree in data science, econometry, statistics, mathematics. Then this is what interests us or what we are interested in. This one here. They want someone who has a professional knowledge of English, but they also said German would be a great plus. You know. So what that simply tells us is that even if you have a very solid knowledge of English, an average company will still want you to have German. So in fact, in the first place, you can't even read this if you don't know German. That's even the first thing. You know. Then let's pick another one. Let's see if we can find um, business data analyst. Um, okay, data analyst. Let's check that one. Let's see what they want. Sometimes some of them don't include it in the job opening description. It is during the interview they get to ask you if you know German. Yeah, so the requirements. So this one is they even wrote it in English, but you can see the requirements here. Based in Berlin, fluent in German. At least this one they made it clear that they want you to be based in Berlin. What they've not told us is if they can sponsor you if you are not in Germany. That is not clear. But the reason why we use this is because based on the filter, it was already remote. So I'm wondering why this is still showing based on Berlin. You know. So, but I think what was interesting or what we are looking for here was to know they will require German knowledge. So, but you can see it's a requirement fluent in German. Yeah. So let's check another one. Data analyst, Power BI. Okay, I think this one didn't mention exactly. Okay, like I said, sometimes they don't mention it within the call for application, but when you go to the interview, most of them will definitely ask you if you have German proficiency or not. You know. So let's try another one, maybe one last one for data analysis before we go to another role. Let's see. Let's check this one. This one is remote. Um, Data analysis has started. This is both remote and hybrid. Let's check. Yeah, so this is what they want. These are the qualifications they want. And like you can see, German, this just simply means very good German knowledge in writing, in what I'm writing. That's what this simply means. So you can see just a simple search we've done. I think 3 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken, have already indicated that they would like you to have German knowledge. So check the results, 2,273. I'm sure if we had time to go through every one of them, maybe 2,900 will be higher. Sorry, 2,100 would require that you have German knowledge, you know, for you to be able to apply. So let's check another role. Let's see. Someone mentioned think software. Let's say software engineer. I think so, that someone mentioned that. So you can see the results: 24,613. Hmm. That is for software engineer. So let's use this first one. This is for senior full stack developer. Okay, maybe this is too high. Let's see if we can use maybe entry level. With entry level is 8,000 results. Yeah. Um, let's use entry level. So let's use the first one. Uh, yeah, workplace, modern workplace engineer. Um, let's go straight to what they want. Yeah, this is entry level, but they already tell you they want German at C level. Yeah. In fact, they even wrote it in English so that you can see it. Proficiency in German at C1 level is mandatory. Language skills will be assessed during the recruitment process. So I think this alone in itself gets to let us know that for us to access IT or tech related jobs in Germany, German is is a requirement. Um, I live here in Germany and we have a lot of IT professionals, both in entry level and mid level, who are looking to um, upgrade or move to like get promotion or change jobs. Most times it's usually very difficult. Why? Because majority of them don't have German skill. So you have no choice but to stay within your level, or you may have to look for another country to go to. But if you want to really grow fast, most times having German as an advantage is a big differentiator, both for those who are already in the system and those who are looking to break into the system. You know, and that's part of it. Reason why we decide to um, come up with this project, because we saw that there's a gap between those who are skilled. So having the skill is not enough, but matching those skills with your language skill can help you tap into the abundance tech opportunities within the country. So like you can see, the jobs are not the problem, but and also the skill. You can have the best skill you want, but you might not be able to get in if you don't have the language skill. And the reason why I can arguably say that it will be easier for you to get into a role in Germany compared to say the US or UK or any other place is because the the barrier to entry here is usually much lower. The only thing that you have to prove most times is that you are good, you have experience, and you can speak the language. Once you can prove those two things, the competition, the bar will drops. But if you have the same skill sets and you are competing against someone who is trying to look for an opportunity in the UK or US, most times it's more difficult. You know, even if the opportunities there are maybe the same, but the chances that you get in compared to when you are competing within the German market is is lower. You know, so this is the advantage why you have to first of all consider learning German to add to your skill sets, and then it improves your chances by far compared to any other person. So we will try to use another role again. Maybe this will be the last one, and then we'll go back to our presentation. Let's use maybe product manager. This one is more or less low code or no code. So um, so you can see the results. Let's see entry level 517 F71. Let's see the requirements. So so this is it. You have to speak fluent German and very good English. So you can see even with this that you would have expected that okay, it's product management, so I might not be needed to know German, but it's still needed. You know, let's see junior product manager. Okay, I think this one doesn't require German. It's fluent in English. And I think it's because it's an international company. Most international companies may not require German. It's a German company, but I think they operate. I think it's a German multinational company. You know, so with that, they might not require that you have German because they are mostly looking at um, international markets. You know, so they might not require that you have German, but that's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's not very common. Let's look at one other one. Let's see this one. Okay, this one is not specific if they want German or not. Maybe they'll ask you during the interview. Hmm, let's find another one. This one is hybrid. This also means mention. Mention. Let's find one final one and we um, would then move on. Let's see this. Okay, let's see this one. This one is hybrid. Um, okay, so this says proficiency of English in business, working knowledge of German is a plus. You know, so usually even those who want you to only know English, they will technically or indirectly still tell you that knowing German would set you out from the crowd. This is what this statement just simply means. You know, it just means that if you have German, we will first of all consider you before considering any other person. That's simply what that statement means. You know. So I think we'll stop here for now and go back to our presentation. Um, but in the meantime, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. If you have questions, all right, I guess there's no question. So now that we have done a quick job search, this is just on LinkedIn. I'll say the most popular one, at least that's I know an average person when thinking of searching for a job will go to his LinkedIn. Of course, there's Indeed, there's Zinc, there's Stepstone, there are so many others, but just for the sake of simplicity, we decide to limit it to LinkedIn because everyone at least perhaps is on LinkedIn. You know, um, so now that you know where to search, how to search, you now assume you meet those qualifications: entry level, maybe mid level, hybrid. You are interested in hybrid or remote. You know, how do you now go on to apply? This is where we usually will come in to support you in the process, you know. And once you see that you meet those requirements or those criteria, we also will guide you. If you meet all of that, you apply, and then maybe you get a um, a request for an interview. Then we would also guide you in the process, you know. And for that to happen, you also need to prepare, you know. Preparing means that you need to understand a few things within the system and how employers think, and basically their expectations. You know, so an overview of how the interview process works in Germany is that usually there will be a first round, there will be a second round, and most times um, they might give you an opportunity to visit on site if if the logistics for that permits, and then they will assess your how you fit into the culture of the company, and then they will go ahead to then um, make a final decision. Mm. So this is just an overview of how the interview works in Germany. You know, so since this is a tech role, most times there will be an assessment. They may give it like a take home assessment where you go to where you get to work on a task and then return it. And sometimes it might even be an online test where you get to take a test, maybe like a timed test, and then you get to see the results even immediately, because most times their applications are used to organize those assessments. So you get to see the results immediately, or sometimes they send you the results via email. You know, so this is how the first round usually works. And if you pass that round, then a manager would reach out to you, where they would then do a proper interview with you. But of course, this is not uniform across companies. Some companies, the manager reaches out to you first, then they do the first set of interview, then they give you the take home or online technical assessment. So it depends. Anyone can come first. But usually, if it's a role that requires you to be on site, the second round would always involve that you come on site, where they see you in person, they assess, body language, the way you speak, the way you dress, the way you talk, you know, your mannerisms in general, just to see if you fit into the culture, you know. And once that is done, then the last stage usually will be if they decide to move on with you or not. And that's where they get to make you an offer, you know. So usually these are the three these are the processes, the way it works, you know. So um one of the tips, that is very key for everyone to know is that the the Germans usually, based on the culture, they like you to be direct and polite. So this is also expected during the interviews. You don't need to talk so much about your personality. just go straight to the facts. They like being direct. Don't say so much stories about your personal history, or they want you to stay on the job. What have you done? You know, your job history. Don't go into your personal history. They are usually not interested in that. So you you stay on the facts, and then you most times you also prefer you look them in the eye, especially if it's um, like physical interviews, like on the site round where you go on the site, they would always, it's part of the culture that when you're speaking to someone, you look them in the eye. That way, they feel more, um, they feel that you are connecting in that conversation, and then they also believe that there's an element of honesty between you two in that course of conversation. So um, so these are some of the cultural tips and nuances that I expected, during the processes, the interview processes. These are all of the things we would be sort of giving you more tips on, guide you on, especially if we eventually helped you in getting an offer, and then you are now ready to um, go into the interview processes. Mm. So the next thing would be the resume, because for you to even apply, you need to have a CV. I think that's actually a core requirement. A CV and of course a motivation letter. Most employers would, in Germany, especially the traditional companies, they would always require you to include a motivation letter. Some of the startups don't really require that anymore, but the traditional ones would always still require it. So that's part of what we get to support you with, and we get to help you in preparing your CV too. Everything in German, because it's important that even if you're applying for an English speaking role, there's a possibility that that company is a German company, except maybe it's an international company, for instance, like Amazon or Google or um, Airbnb or any other international company where their official language is strictly English. So you can submit your CV in English. But even if it's a company, a German company where their official language is English, most times it's advisable that you still submit your CV in German, because that would help you. That in itself makes a statement, and it will help you stay out of the crowd. So we are going to help you in preparing your CV in German, and also help you in writing the motivation letter in German. Um, Based on the German structure, the way it should look like. So typically, these are the way it is structured. This is the way it's structured. It shouldn't be more than 2 pages, and it has to have a contact profile. It has to have a contact, your profile, your experience, your education, and your skills. That is usually the first thing, and then the language comes. So, which language do you know? You include them there. Before, photo used to be compulsory, and now it's no longer compulsory. I'm going to share a sample so you'll see how it looks like. You could also use the Europass format for this purpose, but it generally that might not be applicable for every company. But in case you just want to use a template that cuts across the entire EU, the Europass CV formats templates might also work. I'm going to share that with you so you see um, how that looks like. That's basically my own, the one I prepared for myself. This is basically how the Europass CV looks like. So um, you have your details on top, then about you is basically a template. You just follow a template, you know. All you have to do is just follow the templates and complete the information. So you have your work experience, you have your language skills, and then um, education and training. If you have any other skills, you include it. Sorry. Um, yeah. Then additional information, you can include it there. Hobbies and interests, networks. So basically, the template is there for you. All you have to do is just follow it. That's how the Europass format works. So if you are confused, you don't know the template to use, you can just use the Europass format. But that's not necessarily specific to Germany, but it works too, anyways. Um, so um, yeah, so I don't know if there's any questions so far before we continue. Is there any question? Okay, I guess there's no question, so I'm going to show you another CV. I think this one is mine. I'll try to use mine for it. Um, just a moment. So, oh no, this is not it. Yes, then this should be it. Oh no, it's not this one. Yeah, this. I think it's this. So, this is not necessarily tech specific. I don't know if you can still see my screen. This is not specific to tech role. However, it just follows the general structure of how a German CV should look like. Lebenslauf just simply means CV, you know, in German. So these days, photos are no longer compulsory. You might skip that um, if you don't want to include your photo. Then comes your job experience summary, everything you can do, you include it there, and then the personal competencies. Um, then you can go ahead to now talk about your experience, your job experience. Before that, your personal data is also not compulsory anymore. You can skip that. Then go to your job experience. You know, the formats usually use the the, 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 the dates, then what you're doing, shows the company, and then the description of the things you've done. You know, that's how it works. The duration, the date and duration, the role of the company, then the description of what you've done. Um, then you can go ahead to also mention the your school, what you've done in terms of education, and then you can add, languages, and other skills, IT skills. In this case, you know, for IT role, it's always advisable to limit it to 2 pages. You know, mine is four, but for IT roles, we limit it to 2 pages. So we just go straight to the point where you only listing your skills, language, and what you've done within those certain periods, and then you can highlight your most recent education. You know, what is most important is listing the skills, and the things you've done based on your experience. For instance, for a software developer, what projects have you done? What success or results can you state? Did you work with a team that shipped a product to the market? What was performance of that product? In the market, you can state those facts just with bullet points. You know, and just be brief about it. So basically, this is the structure of the German CV, and most times you always have to include the dates and your signature, at the end. You know, that's how it works generally. You know. So these are part of the things that we would be helping you with from preparing your CV to tailor it to your profile and the role you are interested in. So we would go to the next thing, which um, is the interview preparation. I think we've basically touched a bit on this, um, and most of us are aware of some of this anyways, but we'll just quickly touch on it. So the star stories is basically when you get to talk about particular situation that relates to what you've done, in the past regarding your job. Then you mention a specific task, the action you took, and the results that you contributed to. So that's basically, I think this is just basically general, anyways. So um, this is how you present your case in the interview when you ask specific questions. Of course, before that, you have to research the company, but in this case, this is even part of what we can help you with, in researching the company, so you get to understand if it fits your role, if it's something you want, if it fits the culture you are expecting, the values of the company, the projects that you'd be interested in working with, and all of that. And of course, the one of the biggest questions they will get to ask you is why are you choosing that company, or why even Germany in the first place? So some of the responses, they can be personal, some can be professional. For instance, it could be that you could say you've been fascinated by German technology since when you were a child or something, and you've always wanted to contribute to building projects in Germany. So it could be both career and personal combined. So it depends on how you want to tell your story, anyways. You And of course, you have to communicate clearly and straightforward, concise. The Germans like clear and concise communication. Whether you are communicating in English or German, it doesn't matter. Just be straightforward, clear, concise, and you are good to go. So these are some of the things we would prepare you for the interview process. And some tips which I've already mentioned for culture fits. Um, this is very peculiar to the Germans. Punctuality. Some of us who joined this session yesterday, You heard when the teacher said um, they don't joke with punctuality. So if you are scheduled for an interview, it's expected that you are even there ahead of time. You know, and that's definitely would add to creating a great impression of you. You know, I've already talked about communication. They like direct and honest communication of feedback. They don't really like small talk. Like in our culture, in African culture, we like small talk a lot. Um, but they don't really like it so much. They just want to go straight to the point. Sometimes, if you are not familiar with it, it may come to you as being rude or being, yeah, being insulting, but it's not usually necessarily the case. They just want to go straight to the point. They don't want to waste time. So, but if you don't understand it, it might come to you as being rude or something. But most times it's not the case. Yeah. Um, yeah. Um, so you also have to be modest and not brag or boast about your achievements. Of course, you have to be proud of your achievements, but you just have to be modest about the way you present it. You know, like I mentioned earlier, they prefer facts. You know, just go straight to the point, don't go into too much stories. You know, of course, they also value follow-ups. You know, even if eventually they say no, just send a thank you email. Next time they might get back to you if there's an opening that fits um, your profile. You know, so these are the key things that you need to be aware of, and that we would also support you with in the process when you decide to really take this as a project. Yeah, so um, just a summary of everything that we've talked about. The CV, like I said, make it short, structured, and concise, straightforward, based on what you've achieved. Um, that we can support you in creating and structuring it. Then you have to be culturally aware, you know, in terms of their politeness, their directness, punctuality, and modesty. And you know, you need to also understand the market value of knowing German. You know, that is part of what brings out your worth if you are able to present yourself over other candidates that you know German, you know, and you know the cultural norms and nuances, you know, and of course preparing your story in terms of the interview and every other thing in between. So I think we're going to pause here to allow for present questions, comments, and any other thing, and then we'll get to inform you about the next steps from here. Thank you. So, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Oh, sorry, I'm just seeing that I never knew as the screen wasn't on. Oh, sorry about that. Am I audible? Never knew my screen was not on. My screen sharing wasn't, so sorry about that. But we would share the presentation with you if that would help. as well as the recording. You know. Do you have questions? Okay, I think silence means may know that there are no questions. So in that regard, I would want to share my screen again to show you. Please let me know if you see my screen this time. I never knew I wasn't sharing my screen, or my screen stopped sharing. So please let me know if you see it this time. Um, as we share, you know, the next information with you. So basically, like we already mentioned, that for us to be able to support you in the process, the basic thing you need to start with is the language. Please, can you confirm you can see my screen? All right, okay. So, like you see, we did all of the research on LinkedIn, and you could see the challenge is not the fact that there are no openings or no opportunities. There are a lot of it, more than even your expectations, I believe. However, for you to be able to access that opportunity, you need a leverage, and that leverage is German, and that's where we come in. You know, um, we have a plan that helps you go from beginner's level to an intermediate level, as well as even advanced level. You know, and this doesn't only cover your um, language learning. It covers you joining mentorship sessions where you get to meet, those who are already successful as women, young women, tech professionals in Germany. And of course, we also get to invite you to um, community events, online forums, and insights on how the tech industry in Germany and German-speaking regions is evolving. And we also get to support you with, preparing for the jobs, getting searching for the jobs for you, preparing for you for the interviews, um, and also even doing simulations of interviews with you. In addition to that, you get to have direct access to us, on a one-to-one coaching in terms of your career, in Germany, in the German scene. You know, this is what all we are offering you. And even in addition to that, if you take the intermediate course, which is the stadium, this one covers even a free course and certification in Scrum Master. So um, if you are interested in those Scrum Master courses, whether you are going to become a product manager already, a product manager or not, most times this is a skill that is relevant for anyone going into tech. So this also comes inclusive, free of charge. You, you don't need to pay for it. And if you advance to the B2 level, you also get personalized mentorship one-on-one with the network of mentors we have. And we also have free entry to all of our German for Girls events, German for Girls in Tech events. So these are the things we support you with. So for us to be able to go from point A, like I mentioned earlier, which is getting you in ready to find a role that fits your profile, we need to first of all ensure that you are ready, and by that it means you will be ready to want to learn the language, because that's the leverage. Without that, there won't be any basis to even want to check your profile and to want to support you on that journey. So that being said, we would want to um, pause here and ask you if you have any question. We can we'll share the link with you. Maybe you want to go through it on your own. You can check it out and let us know what um, your concerns or questions are. Okay, I think there's a question here. Please, the BC drafts. Okay, CV draft. Do you have a sample you can share? Yes, we do have a sample, but that's for those who are already um, with us in the program. You know, if you want a detailed sample, we might not be able to give you a detailed, but can give you a template that you can use generally. But if you want a very detailed sample, it's only available for those who are in the program. You know, like very specific industry standard sample. We do have that. But if you are not yet in the program, we can just give you a general template, that you can use. I don't know if that answers your question. Does that answer your question? All right. Do we have any other question? Okay, I guess there's a question. So we have our next course coming up in May 26th, by May 26th. So if you would like to participate and join the program, you can send us a message. For those who are already on the group WhatsApp community, we would send follow-up messages, or you can ask further questions for clarity or anything else you may want to know about. Feel free to shoot us a message there, or shoot us an email if you already have an email. Any communication channel you have available at your disposal, feel free to reach out to us and we would do our best to respond to you. Anna, do you have anything else you would like to talk about that I may have missed out?
No, I don't.
All right. I think there's a hand raised. Please go ahead. It's your question.
So, there's a clarification I needed. Does the program provide a job?
Okay, so we support you in the process, but we are not employers, So what that simply means is that we work with, you know, recruiters. We also work with, partners who have direct access to companies that may be interested in your skill as far as you meet the requirements. But we are not employers, so we are only supporting you in the process to ensure that you meet the right qualifications and help you in the search, help you in ensuring that you meet all of the relevant criteria that you need to succeed, which fundamentally one of it is knowing German. So what we do is we provide German courses. That's part of our primary responsibility because that's already is like 90% of the heavy lifting you need in terms of your success rates. Um, then, in addition to that, we help you with the search, you know, connecting you with those who are interested, employers who are interested in your skill, and put you in the right network, match you with mentors who are already successful in the field, and of course, ensure that you're part of our network to network with others who are already successful as young tech professionals in Germany. Basically, access to network, mentorship, and eventual landing you a job. That is what this offers. But fundamentally, our focus is on you learning German first because if you don't do that, every other thing is impossible because like you saw when we're doing the search, almost all of the roles require that you need to know German. So if that is not done, there's no how we can prepare CV for you. There's no how we can prepare you for um, job search or bring you into a network or match you with a mentor. All of that will not be necessary. So the first step for anyone who is interested would be that you are ready to learn the language. That's the leverage. Every other thing is secondary, and all those are very, very easy to accomplish within um, the framework we are working with. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. So, how about a person that is already certified in the language? Can you
Oh,
help in connecting the client?
yes, definitely. That is possible. Um, we definitely can help with that. At what level? What's the language level?
Yeah, that's a A2.
That's still pretty low. The minimum is B1.
Okay, but if the person has B1, you can support with connecting to the
Yes,
client.
yes, we can.
All right.
As far as you have a strong profile, you know,
Okay.
and by that I mean you have the necessary qualifications. You know.
Yes.
Okay,
So, how does the patient reach out to you people?
say again.
How would the person reach out to you people, those that are certified in the field, in the language, and has the qualification as well?
Are you speaking on behalf of someone or yourself?
Yeah, myself, and I have someone too. So like, just asking inquiries.
Yeah, you can send us an email. Are you part of our WhatsApp group already?
No, not yet.
Okay. You can either send us an email, DM.
Okay.
Let me type the email in the chat. That's our email. You can send us an email there, and then we can take things forward from there. You know. Yeah, but apparently you still need to learn German up to at least B1 level. That is very, very important. So I think you should just have that at the back of your mind. And if it's you or the other person, um, if A2 is not really enough, So I would say just prepare for that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So is there any other question or any other concerns, comments? All right. Choma, please go ahead. You can speak, please, Choma. Can't hear you if you're speaking.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. I want to know how long it usually take to get from A1 to B2 level. How long does it usually take for a learner from A1 to B2 level?
Okay. Thank you, Choma, for that question. So, on the average, per level is, um, on the average is depending um, on the speed, the intensity. You know, there are there are programs that you can have for like 6 weeks, but that is intensive. But for a regular program, the average is like 8 weeks. So it means A1 is 8 weeks, A2 is 8 weeks, B1 is 8 weeks, eight B2 is 8 weeks. So in total, that's you know 8 times 4 is 32 weeks. You know, so that's the regular program. But if you want an intensive one, in fact, some intensive program can be for 4 weeks. That's really, really intensive because it means you'll be available every single day, maybe for more than 2 hours per day. You know, so it means you have to be you have to have that time availability. You know, for you to be able to achieve it within that time frame. So it means for intensive classes, you can achieve it in in 4 times 4, 4 weeks times 4. That's 16 weeks. So about the average time you need for the regular session, from A1 to B2. You know, that's if you have the time. Not everyone has that time, because this is targeting those who are already professionals in their field. They are already working, but they are looking at expanding their career. Most times they only have time maybe in the evenings or the weekends. You know, they don't necessarily have the time every day to want to attend the classes. So this is for the regular classes. So it means you may need to prepare for a minimum of 32 weeks. But if you want something intensive, we also have that.
Okay, thank you.
So any other question? Okay. So we will be sending the presentation alongside other ebooks that gives you insights on tips on how to prepare for the German tech scene um, as a young woman in tech. Basically, language skill you need to kickstart your tech career in Germany. Um, so the steps you need to take basically to kickstart your German learning for tech careers. We'll send that as well to you, and a couple of other bonus ebooks. For instance, on tips on landing a tech job and preparing for interview and basically a couple of other tips that may be relevant for you know job application tips and all of that, tech job application tips. So these are part of the things we will be sharing with you for those who registered and are part of the WhatsApp community. You know. So we'll be sharing some of this relevant information materials with you from time to time. Um, but most importantly, if you really want to take action and you are serious, we only have 1 month for that because our next cohort starts May 26th, so it means there's still pretty much time for you to plan and prepare. So that's more or less like 1 month from now. So if you've not thought about it, you can take some time, think about it. If you want to be part of the next cohort, we only accept 12 per cohort. So if you really are serious and want to join the next cohort, do reach out to us before May, maximum May 12th or 13th. So we'll be able to include you in the next cohort. If not, we usually start taking new candidates um, 2 weeks before this next session starts so that we can plan and prepare ahead. So, um, so that's an critical information we believe is useful for those of you who would want to take the next step of action. But like we said, if you still have some questions, some concerns, some doubts, feel free to shoot us an email if you're already part of the WhatsApp community. Feel free to ask questions there. We will be happy to respond to you. Yeah. So, I guess do we still have questions? Does anyone still have questions? Barbara, Maureen, do you still have questions? Do you have questions? All right. Garone, do you have anything for our participants, guests? Anything you'd like to share with our participants? All right. Maureen says she has a question. Okay. So we want to say thank you for joining, and we look forward to having you in the next session, and also to interact with you on the WhatsApp community. Feel free to drop further concerns or questions, and we'll be happy to respond there. Thank you for joining once again, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and have a blessed week ahead. Bye for now, everyone.